If you want to increase your longevity playing tennis and you want to try to stay away from injuries, you do not want to skip these three things. Number one, a warm-up. Number two, a cool down. And number three, some sort of percussive therapy as part of your end of day routine. So why are those three things important? I'm going to keep it simple. Why is a warm-up important? Because it's going to allow the temperature of your muscles to get higher. And that's going to help the muscles stretch a lot easier and become more flexible. There's going to be a lot more blood flow going through your muscles. And, it's simple. You're going to protect your muscles. So, you've all heard that example of picturing you putting a rubber band in the freezer and then taking it out and stretching it. What's going to happen to that rubber band is going to break. And so the same thing could happen to your body if you start playing and stretching and going for balls cold. You could run the risk of injury. Number two, why is it important to have a cool down? And I am guilty of not doing this every time that I play tennis. And believe me, what happens when you don't do this is you're sore the next day. So why is a cool down important? Because it's going to lower your heart rate and it's going to help you release all that muscle waste that you've accumulated while you're playing, like lactic acid. So you want to try to move that through your system so that you can get rid of it. Otherwise, like I said, the next day you're going to feel it because that lactic acid is still going to be in your system and you don't want to do that. The third thing is including some sort of percussive therapy in your end of day routine. I've done it forever. Most professional athletes do it, so if it's good for them, it should be good for you. So in simple terms, why is something like this important? Because you're allowing your body to increase the blood flow and to relax before you go to bed. And you know that at night is when our body really does all the healing. So why not spend anywhere from 15 to 20 minutes giving yourself a free massage that is not going to take that long. So I would be careful if you have injuries, if there's inflammation. Again, like I said, each one of the companies that makes these products, they have their own literature. So I would read about it, but make sure that you include it as part of your end of day routine. In the past, I created a video with my trainer and my friend Kelly Painter that goes a lot more in detail about treating pressure points, which is something else that you could do as part of your end of day routine. And I am gonna link it over here. It's a really interesting video that goes way more in detail about the science behind it. So check it out. So today I wanna take you through my warm-up. And it takes anywhere from about 10 to 15 minutes. So what I do is I get to the club about 10, 15 minutes before everybody gets there. And I spend the first 5 minutes doing some light jogging. So I go from the net to the baseline. And then after I feel that my body has warmed up, then I start doing some dynamic stretching and then some static stretching. And then I continue to play. Now, what if you don't have the time? What if you got there late? What I would really suggest is spend some time doing mini tennis, because that is a really easy way to get yourself into the game, to start doing the motions in slow motion. Little by little, you might, want, while you're waiting for the ball, doing mini tennis, just do a little jumping, the idea is to get some blood flow, to feel like you're warm before you start stretching and going for hard shots. So let me show you what I do. All right, so like I mentioned before, what I want to do is try to get my temperature, the body temperature, higher in the beginning before I start doing any stretching. So I'm going to spend some time between running or slow jogging between the baseline and the net. So I'm going to start by using my lower body, just doing some kicks, and I'm gonna do the opposite. And then I want to go sideways. And sideways the other way. And this whole time I'm trying to get every one of my joints loose. My hips, my shoulders, my wrists. Going in reverse. I'm going in reverse. And this time I'm gonna do crossover. So I'm gonna use the line as a guide. I go in front of the line and behind the line. And again, you wanna try to loosen up your hips when you're doing this. There's another exercise that I love, and it's called fast feet. So what I wanna do is, I've had it in another video before, which I'm gonna link over here. So basically what you do is you go right foot in front, left foot in front, right foot behind, and left foot behind this sideline. Okay, so now we're gonna do jumps. So again, I'm gonna use this doubles sideline as a guide, and I go from the right to the left. And this time, you want to use your big toe to push off and to land. And let go of your hips. Now I'm gonna do it with just one foot, right foot. And same thing, be mindful of using your big toe to push off and landing on your big toe. Same thing with the left foot. Want to be careful landing on the outside of your foot. Okay, now I feel like my heart rate is definitely up. So I'm gonna start introducing some dynamic stretching. So what I wanna do is I wanna do opposite leg to opposite arm. Okay? So I'm gonna walk and do the same thing. And then I'm gonna start opening up my hips. So bending your knee, basically opening up your right hip, opening up your left hip. And like I mentioned before, loosen up your joints as much as you can and keep your core engaged. And same thing, try to be mindful of which part of your foot you're using to land on. You want to use mainly your big toe, the front of your foot. Now that I am feeling nice and warm and there's some blood circulating through my body, I'm gonna do more static stretching. So I'm gonna start with my lower body and work my way up to my upper body. So we're gonna start with my legs, my front of my legs, and then hamstrings and your glutes. So now I want to loosen up my back more. So I'm going to try and keep my knees from bending and reach all the way down. And you don't want to be bouncing. Just see how far you can get and see if you can get a little farther each time. A couple of areas that I've always found very, very difficult to stretch with regular stretching exercises are your hips and the front of the lower part of your legs. So I went back to my yoga routines and I picked up a couple of moves, a couple of positions that really get those two areas stretched. So make sure that you do this after your body is warmed up. So the first one is I'm gonna try to bend down and stay on my feet as much as I can. And then I'm gonna try to go up. And this is good for your balance too, trying to make sure that you're distributing your body weight on both feet. And the other position is basically sitting on your feet, on your heels. This really gets the front of my legs. Just spend a few seconds. You know your body better than anybody, so don't overdo it. If it's just a few seconds that you can spend, then that's all that you can do. So I got my legs going now. Now it's time for my upper body. So I'm gonna start by using both arms and drawing circles with my upper arms, my forearm. So I want to try to open up my chest at the end. Now I'm gonna warm up my shoulders a little bit by doing some circles going forward and some circles going backwards. And now that I feel that my shoulders are nice and warmed up, I can do more static stretching. So I'm gonna bring my right arm back, and then I'm gonna bring my left arm back and hold it for about 10 seconds. Don't be in a rush when you're warming up. You wanna spend some time doing this. That's why it's ideal if you can get to the court 10 to 15 minutes early. Just like you spend time in your car or in your house, this is your engine. You want to spend time in your body so that it lasts longer. Okay, so now we're going to spend a little time on your forearms and your hand. So I'm going to try and bring your whole hand back. And again, don't bounce. You just want to add a little resistance and then down. And the same thing with the left arm and down. And now we're going to do each finger separately. And down. If you can find a corner somewhere on the court, this is the best place for you to open up your chest. So and then find a fence where you can just lay your entire arm on the fence and open it up. And same thing with your right arm. So let's talk about a cool down. Ideally, what you want to do is spend anywhere from 10 to 15 minutes on a stationary bike, lowering your heart rate, just going very slow. Remember that the whole point of this is to try to get the muscles to relax, the waste that has been created by your muscles to flush out, to go into your bloodstream and eventually come out. So if you can't find a bike anywhere, a stationary bike anywhere in your club, what you can do is just take a light jog around the court for 10 minutes and just really relax. Just think of what you're doing. You're trying to flush out waste, and just take a slow jog. Just feel like you're lowering your heart rate, like you're helping all of that muscle waste come out of your system. So there you have it. I hope that I have inspired you to create your own warm-up routine, your own cool-down routine, and to include some sort of percussive therapy in your end-of-day routine.